Hey Grace family, and welcome back to our midweek check-in. So last Sunday we were in Philippians chapter 4 and we talked about conflict. And even though church conflict isn't the most exciting thing to talk about or our first thing we want to dive into, I think we really learned that we can embrace conflict. Because one of the things we talked about is that conflict is going to result in growth, but how we handle it determines what grows. So if we kind of ignore it or we handle it the wrong way, it's going to lay this foundation for sin to grow and sin to kind of keep that cycle going. But if we handle conflict the right way and we love one another through it and embrace one another, have that same mind and can agree in the Lord together, then we're going to grow in Christ's likeness. And so that gives us the opportunity to embrace conflict. So within that conversation, I just want to meet you in the middle of your week and read a couple verses that kind of help us just relate to one another and love one another well. But this is Colossians chapter 3, verses 12 and 13, and it says this: "Put on then, as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience, bearing with one another, and if anyone has a complaint against another, forgiving each other as the Lord has forgiven you, so you also must forgive." There's obviously so much in there, and I don't have time to really dive into it all, but one phrase I wanted to look at is it says bearing with one another. And that phrase bearing with means to endure something unpleasant or difficult. And you kind of think of our interactions when that conflict arises or that friction comes, there really is a call for us to endure with one another something that's unpleasant or difficult. The importance of that is first and foremost, it just really illustrates the gospel of Jesus Christ. You talk about someone who had to endure something unpleasant or difficult, and us, fallen, broken, sinful people, and yet He loved us to the point He redeemed us back to Himself. That's how God treats us. We can certainly extend that to one another. But another way that we can think about it, in conflict, we're enduring something unpleasant or difficult from others, but next time they're going to have to endure something unpleasant or difficult from us. There's always going to be things that we're just rubbing people the wrong way, whether it's them or us or both, but that's the beauty of the family of God and embracing and choosing to love one another, to endure one another, to bear with one another, to go through those difficult and unpleasant times and even personalities and choices so that God's love for the world is put on display and we're growing more like Him. So church, looking ahead at this next Sunday, we've got the opportunity. We're going to have a guest speaker. Rick McGew is going to be here, and he's got a sermon titled Faith, Reason, and Reality. So a lot of different ways through creation, he's going to break down and prove that all these things in creation just show there's obviously a creator. So come to that. Look forward to your faith being strengthened. Maybe bring a friend or a neighbor, a coworker, someone who's seeking or just wants to know more about the Lord. It'd be a great conversation for them to be a part of. And in the meantime, don't forget to bear with one another, putting God's love on display towards one another and for the world to see. So have a great week, church, and we'll see you back here Sunday morning at 9 a.m.